2025. Rose, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Gilreath Watts.
Present.
Hall.
Here.
Randall.
Here.
Van Buren.
Here.
Zapata.
Here.
Maselli.
Here. Approval of the minutes. Commissioners, any questions, comments, or concerns regarding last month's minutes? Seeing none, they'll stand. Approval of the agenda. Joe, no changes, I assume, tonight?
I believe we do not have a learning and growth.
Fine, thank you. I need a motion, Commissioners, to excuse Commissioner Weller, Smart, and Lamer.
So moved.
By Cherie, second by Van Buren. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. By rules and by law, at this time, I'll open up public comment on non-public hearing item agenda items only. I will close that. Rose, could you read agenda item number 1, please?
Request to amend zoning code sections 9308, 9309, 9312, 9328, 9404A, 9409A, 9414A, 9420A, 9426A, 9435A, 9440A, and 2012.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
I'm excited to present some more text amendments that we're bringing your way, the first batch of 2. Our first agenda item being those code sections that Rose just read out that I don't have to necessarily repeat for you. So, to start out, this is very common practice, as you all are well aware of, with our zoning code being one of the more seasoned zoning codes that there are. It requires some maintenance, and we were actually able to find a few things to bring to you today. This section in particular that is all clerical, which is really just clarifying some phrasing, correcting some dead links, and removing some errors that we found. So, our first one of the night is clarification on front lot designations. This is something that's written into the code as a role that the building inspector has, but in practice that's not very realistic or applicable. The city planner is typically the person when it comes to a corner lot or something where it's a funky design of a lot. They're typically the one to determine the front. So in this case, this is just correcting that. Our next and probably largest section is references to outdated links or dead links. This is anywhere in the code that references something else that does not exist or is the incorrect link. For example, one of the sections in landscaping references 90-1003, which is about appeals and not actually about landscaping. So this is something that could be confusing to developers or residents as they look in our zoning code. So amending this is helpful for everyone. Our third one is about fences, walls, and protective barriers in section 90-312. Again, this is something that has been in practice for a while, that the front lot or the front yard setback is often confused with that required front yard. So by removing the word required, it clarifies it in a way to designate just not that front yard, which can be referenced in the setback, but rather the house. So anything in front of that house, that's where the height changes, not in some ways an arbitrary 35-foot line or something that can shift depending on the neighborhood. And then finally, sign illumination clarification. We have a point in our sign code that references that internally illuminated signs are permitted, and then right after that, that they are not. So a little bit of confusion there. There's another section, 90-705, that does reference the applicability of this. So we're removing the part that prohibits internally illuminated signs to allow them, and for it to be clear that they are allowed. And also, that first point, the word securely is actually misspelled in our zoning code. So that's one of the changes you'll see as well. With that, the Development Review Team recommends the Planning Commission adopt the proposed text amendments to section 90-308, 90-309, 90-312, 90-328, 90-404A, 90-409A, 90-414A, 90-420A, 90-426A, 90-435A, 90-440A, 90-2012, and recommend the same to City Council. I'm available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Colton. Question? Do I need to open up public hearing when public comment?
For the record, you should.
I will do that, thank you. I just wanted to double check. I've done that in the past. So at this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing on agenda item number 1. And seeing none, I will close public hearing on agenda item number 1. Commissioners, in front of us, we have a motion to adopt the proposed tax amendments to sections 9308, 9309, 9312, 9328, 9404A, 9409A, 9414A, 9420A, 9426A, 9435A, 944A, 902012, and recommend the same to the City Council. I need a motion. Motion by Hall, second by Wendy. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, Rose, call the vote.
Commissioner Gilreath Watts,
Yes.
Hall,
Yep.
Randall,
Yes.
Van Buren,
Yes.
Zapata,
Yes.
Maselli.
Yes, motion passes. Rose, would you read agenda item number 2?
Motion to adopt the proposed text amendments to sections 9205, 9219, 9335, 9408B, Table 9600, 901200, 901314, 901406, 901407, 901408, 901409, 901410, 901411, 902100, and recommend the same to City Council.
Joe?
Good evening, Commissioners. I do appreciate all of that being read out. So the item is the request to amend the zoning code to the various sections. And in all fairness, I will read them all out again at the end, just
As well.
so starting out, again, as Colton mentioned in the first round of text amendments, time to time it's necessary for planning staff and the planning commission reviewing the zoning ordinance for any additions, deletions, corrections. So this set of proposed amendments is for clarification of event centers, convention center uses, definitions, and guidance for existing banquet halls, nightclubs, event centers, and other similar uses. And there are a couple other small sections that do relate to that, which we're also going to go over, and I will walk you through it. So additional definitions for clarity, that's sections 9205, 219, and 2100. This adds the definition of event center and security and crowd management plan to the Euclidean code as well as the form-based code to give an idea and outline what an event center is and outline what a security and crowd management plan is. And then we add the definition of convention center to the form-based code only because that is the only place that it is being added. Since event center is being added in both places, we have to add it in both definition sections. And the same thing for the security and crowd management plan. It's being added to both Euclidean and the form-based code. So getting into the guidelines for event centers, convention centers, nightclubs, and the like, that's 9335 and 901314. So this adds guidelines for security and crowd management plans in both the Euclidean code, that's 9335, and then the form-based code, which is 901314. So it talks about what uses are required to submit security crowd management plans. So nightclubs, event centers, convention centers, and similar uses as designated by the city planner. What elements are expected to be addressed. So parts like, elements that are expected to be addressed, such as security plans, any hiring of additional personnel, if they need cameras, if they need to put together a fire plan for ingress and egress, that kind of thing that can be reviewed by other members of staff, including our public safety group. And who is responsible for reviewing and approving plans. So that's going to be elements of planning. There's going to be public safety, opportunity to talk, the fire department included in that. So again, the goal, providing guidance for existing and proposed event centers. So this isn't just for any new ones. This is any existing one that already exists within the city. Banquet halls in the city, nightclubs, and other similar uses. So it's important, and we wanted to underline this, it's important as it ensures that uses that fall into the category will safely integrate into surrounding commercial districts. So Moving to updating parking requirement language. This is one of those things that we have to update, as well as adding the event center and convention center definitions. We have to update some of the language in the parking requirements to add this use to the parking requirements. So we are removing the term assembly hall, we are changing it to banquet hall, and changing banquet hall to event center. We are also updating something that was, I believe, on our agenda a couple text amendments ago, which was the removal of the word tavern and the inclusion of the word bar. And we are also adding the term dance hall to an existing list to clarify parking requirements. So this is a little bit of cleanup here to add in a couple of new uses that are being added as definitions, as well as updating some terms that previously were updated in other text amendments. So we are also looking to have assembly hall, the term assembly hall, changed to event center in 9408B, and then in all of the sections for the form-based code, that's 1406, 07, 08, 09, 10, and 11. So recently, as you may remember, Planning Commission and City Council were presented with the change from assembly hall and church to separate the two uses, where we had church was redefined as a place of worship, and then assembly hall was made its own thing. We also recently added places of worship to make sure that that was updated in the form-based code. Since then, there has been some confusion amongst residents and developers with the term assembly hall. To make the intent of the original change clearer, we are altering the verbiage here and adding a new definition so that not only is it updating the language within the code in the use sections, but also updating the definition to make it abundantly clear what an event center is. So this applies to B2 business districts, which is the 9408B, as well as the various form-based code districts and their respective tables. So, updating the development requirements for the form-based code. So section 90-1200 talks about the applicability within the form-based code. This change specifically clarifies who determines what constitutes a substantial impact to parking requirements, making that abundantly clear that it is the city planner that does that. It removes uncertainty for developers, as noted here, as they propose new plans within the form-based code. So, with that, the Development Review Team recommends the Planning Commission adopt the proposed text amendments to Section 9308, 9309, 9312. I am reading the list from the previous one. Hold, please.
That's right.
We are recommending that you amend the zoning code sections 9205, 9219, 9335, 9408B, 9600, and the table for 9600, 901200, 901314, 901406, 901407, 901408, 901409, 901410, 901411, and 902100. I am available for questions if you have any.
Thank you, Joe. At this time, I'd like to open up public hearing for agenda item number 2. Seeing none, I will close. Commissioners, questions, comments, or concerns? Commissioner Hall.
I appreciate seeing the word hall used often. Thank you, staff.
Any other? Rose, please call the vote.
Commissioner
Oh,
Gilman.
wait a minute. There's a motion. I gotta read that. There's a motion in front of us. I did this a little backwards, didn't I? Let me rephrase this. There's a motion in front of us to adopt proposal tax amendment to sections 9025, 9205, 9219, 9335, 9408B, table 9600, 901200, 901314, 901406, 901407, 901408, 1909, 901410, 901411, 902100, and recommend the same to the City Council. Rose, please call the vote.
I'm gonna do a motion.
Motion, sorry. You threw me off. Motion by Cherie, second by Audrey. Questions, comments, or concerns? Rose, call the vote.
Commissioner Gilreath Watts,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Randall,
Yes.
Van Buren,
Yes.
Zapata,
Yes.
Maselli.
Yes, motion passes. That's a tough one. Rose, could you please read agenda item number 3?
Learning and growth.
There, go ahead.
Yeah, so we did have something scheduled for this evening, but we had a last-minute change, so that presentation is being reworked a little bit, and we will have that potentially next month, or we'll have something else next month.
All right. Public comment. At this time, I'm going to open up the public comment period. Seeing none, I will close. Commissioners, any questions, comments, or concerns? Great meeting tonight. Probably one of the fastest we've ever had. So without that, without saying any more, meeting adjourned. Those are tough ones for me.